Greetings, everyone. I'm going to say some things in this video that might offend people, but there's nothing I can do about how people respond to what I have got to say. Now, towards the end of last week, there were some disturbing news coming out of Jamaica regarding a teacher and a young student. The teacher was asked to take the student to school, and that student should have been in her care because that was a young, very, very young student in, what is referred to as a basic school. By the end of the day, the parent of that young student was left grieving. And the explanation or story that that teacher is offering the family is such an insult. And in my opinion, that teacher and everyone who is helping her to concoct that ridiculous story should be behind bars. I just want to say condolences to the family. And I feel great empathy to the parents, the young parents who have to go through this and their families that have to go through this. And I'm not going to dwell on that any further, except to say that Jamaica is one of the worst places when it comes to protecting these young ones. They're very careless. Now, I'm not saying everyone in the island, but I'm just saying the majority. When it comes to even schools, setting things in place to make sure these young ones are safe, even on the playground, zero. On any given day, if you're in Jamaica on a day when it's school time, you would not see teachers on duty, as is the case here. Teachers on duty watching what goes on with play. And until these things are implemented and are part of the legislation where young ones are on a whole, students should not be left alone. I'm sure there's something in there somewhere, but is it enforced? So when you pass a little basic school and you look, no one is watching these little ones. Now that woman's story about why and how she get to discover that this young student was in trouble is just disgusting. I'm going to also say that though we have some loving, caring people in Jamaica, most people, if it's not their children, they don't care. I've seen it so many times. I've seen people put the young ones out of taxi and take their place and leave them stranded at night. And I don't understand these parents who send their kids so far away to school. If you feel that the school in your community is not good enough, then it's your responsibility to drop them at that far location and pick them up. But they take such chances, so much risk. And I think a lot of that has to be a deep seated trauma where we're not protecting the young ones, the vulnerable, as much as we can or should in Jamaica. And the fact that this teacher feel that she could offer such a lame excuse to the parents and justify it in herself that she can actually tell them that nonsense when it was clear she was hiding something, that she felt she could give them that excuse and get away with that. I just don't understand. We talk all the time about some of the things that are happening in Jamaica. And I'll never get tired of saying that there's a spell cast, and you have the old and the young alike who are spellbound. I cannot believe that my little beautiful island of Jamaica is a place that when I think of it, I feel dread inside. Dread. I think, when they used to say dreadful, now it makes sense to me. People are dreadful. So many people are so dishonest. You cannot even trust the woman that gave birth to you these days. Dreadful. You don't know who you can trust. You cannot trust anybody. People look you straight in the face and tell you some bold-faced lie. It happened to me recently. I'm still trying to get over it. And I'm hoping you guys watch my video because I'm still going to talk about it until I feel better. People look you in the face and tell you dreadful lies, terrible, horrible lies. They don't fear any God whatsoever. Don't pay any attention to them and their fake religious mindset. Don't pay any attention. There's nothing about a lot of these people. They go to church every Sunday or every Sabbath, and they are lie and thief and wicked. They're so dishonest. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying the majority of them. I don't trust. Listen, if I were to go back to Jamaica to live, I wouldn't want anybody that I know to know where I live. I would not want anyone. I don't trust any of them. None. Relatives or friends or nobody. Because I don't know what they're putting in the water, but it's very scary. And a lot of times you meet people, they seem so nice. They start out being very nice. And you might share some of the painful things you go through in life with them. And you think they would never do the same thing to you, and they do worst. So, it's not shocking to me that this woman would take this family life apart. In my humble opinion, I think she hit that young one. She hit. Because their hands are very nimble. They love to lay their hand on people's loved ones. I'm here dancing around the word because they don't want you to say these words, and I'd like you to comment. Don't trust your offspring to any and everybody. Sometimes I know it's hard for you not to because you have to work and so on and so forth. But trust me, it's a big risk you take when you're just leaving people with these precious ones. Wicked. When you're not watching them, if you had a camera in the house, you would be shocked to see the things that they're doing. And when you reach home to get them, they're smiling in your face. I don't know. I do love my people because guess what? Everybody else dislike us. And so I can't join them, but I am very wary. I'm very wary of our own. The lies that are coming out after this terrible loss must be even more painful for the family to deal with. And I'm not going to ask for justice from man in Jamaica because that will never happen. The people who are in place to exact justice, they're horrible. They are for sale. They can be bought. So that family, if they're not wealthy or not, positioned in a way where they know famous or popular or rich people, then that woman, if she is associated to people with wealth and prestige, it's like another day. But you know how I feel about justice. We don't rely on man for it. We rely on the Most High. Would you trust anyone in Jamaica to send your offspring to stay there for them to care for? I'm sure there are people in Jamaica who have people they could trust, but I would not trust nobody with my dog. I'm sorry to say, if this is offensive, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't send my dog to anybody that I know. For a lot of them are very dishonest, and a lot of them very nimble with their hands and love to, you know, do things to other persons' loved ones. And they'll take your money. They will lie to you and say that they're doing things and keep it for themselves. Disgusting. Lady, you took 46 $76,000 and pocketed it and left an old man dying. You're disgusting. But that's another story, people. I just ran off in a tirade, just leaving a message for the ones who watch my video. You're disgusting, and I will never speak to you again unless you apologize. And the apology is just to say that admit that you are dishonest. $76,000 you pocketed. So these ones, they have no conscience. They rob the old. They will take disadvantage of the newborn. Not very nice. I don't love the people in my country as much as I used to, but I still love the land. Thank goodness. The land still remains beautiful. Teacher woman and principal, you should be investigated too. You all are liars and very, very wicked. And I hope the family gets justice. It is such an awful thing, and I feel great empathy for the parents. They're going through it right now. Going through it right now. But somehow I pray for peace. Somehow the spirits can just come and rest with them and give them peace during this very difficult time in their life. It is such a sad thing. Can you imagine what has happened to our people for them to become this way? Because poverty is not the only reason. There's something, and that's why I think it's a spiritual thing that is visiting the people and making them so hardened. Anyway, everyone, take care. Stay blessed.